I'm Becca Habegger. This is Wildfire Preparedness Week. Fire officials and the governor are talking about how we all need to be prepared, and yet some people trying to get ready for fire season by buying fire insurance are finding they can't. It's because their carrier isn't offering it to them anymore. Or for some people, their fire insurance premiums are skyrocketing. If this is happening to you, you're not alone, and here's what you can do.
And there's a lot of frustration, there's a lot of anxiety. People are they're worried about, can I get insurance?
Christopher Kirksick is an insurance agency owner in El Dorado Hills. He offers coverage to people all over the state and says this year more people than ever before are calling him panicked and nervous, saying the company that used to offer them fire insurance is no longer offering it or is sharply raising their premium.
It used to be, we'd have a wildfire once every 2 or 3 years. Then we had a wildfire season every year, and now the past 2 years we had the most devastating wildfires we have in the state's history back to back, and insurance companies are thinking that this is a trend, and so they have to build in the risk in the premium, so it's getting definitely much more expensive.
The California Department of Insurance says if this is happening to you, you should give them a call, 1-800-927-HELP. The first thing they can do is make sure everything was done properly. If your insurance company is not renewing your fire coverage, you're supposed to get a certain amount of notice. The second thing they can do is help you explore other options. There may be smaller or non-traditional insurance carriers that can provide you coverage. Finally, if there's no other avenue, fire coverage is available through something called the California FAIR Plan. Established by the state more than 50 years ago, it does not use any public or taxpayer dollars, but it does offer fire coverage for people as a very last resort.
Definitely shop around. The FAIR Plan gets a bad rap because the cost, but it's a very stable product. I always tell people to call independent brokers because they might have access to carriers that I don't have access to.
He says clearing trees and creating what's called defensible space around your house will not lower your premium, but it will bring you peace of mind and security in case a wildfire does ignite near your home. This peaceful land belongs to Laura and Charlie Callahan.
We keep our property pretty well clear. As you look down the hill there, you can see we're pretty well cleaned up.
They've lived on these 10 acres atop a hill in El Dorado County for more than 25 years.
I'd hate to have to leave all that because I've got to live somewhere where it's a lot less expensive.
Back in April, they got what folks around here know simply as the letter.
We had our homeowners insurance for over 20 years, and we got the letter, as people refer to it, and we were canceled. Between errors and things like that, we've been canceled 3 times. And so hopefully this time will stick. But I'm now paying 4 times what I was paying before. It's gone from less than $1,000 a year to almost $4,000 a year. And we're on a fixed income. He's retired, I'm retiring, and it wasn't something we expected.
The Callahans aren't alone.
Some people are paying more for their homeowners insurance than they are for their mortgages.
The El Dorado County Board of Supervisors recently surveyed homeowners. Hundreds of people said their insurance was either canceled or the price was sharply increased. It's a situation board chair Sue Novosel calls dire.
If you don't have fire insurance, you're not going to be able to either stay in your home, maintain your home, or God forbid have to sell that home. You can't do that if you don't have fire insurance. So it's going to affect California in a lot of other ways other than just having insurance. It's going to affect our real estate market. It's going to affect our economy.
It prompted Novosel to write a letter to California's Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara.
We have homeowners right now that are doing what they can to get defensible space, and yet they're not being allowed to have that be put towards their insurance rates. They're still being canceled. They're still being tripled their rates.
It's not that it's not fair. I get it. We live in a fire danger area, but I think it should be done based on a one-by-one basis. I think they should take the time to come out and actually investigate your property, see what you've got cleared, give it a scoring system of some type, and that's what your insurance is based on. But that's not the way our state works. So
the Callahans say they can weather a $3,000 increase for now, but if their premium goes up much more in the future, they don't know what they'll do.
We are both savers.
Meanwhile, it is a crisis all over California. Wildfire insurance policies are skyrocketing in price or being dropped altogether.
Yeah, I am here with Becca Habegger, who's been covering this story for us extensively, and these numbers released today do not look good.
Yeah, Madison, we know that tens of thousands of homeowners in the fire-prone counties around here have been dropped by their insurance company since 2015. The numbers released today come from the California Department of Insurance, and the problem is even worse than the data show, as the numbers don't reflect the many people losing insurance this year in the wake of last year's destructive wildfires. So from 2015 to 18, the 10 counties with the most homes in high fire risk areas saw a combined total of more than 19,000 non-renewals. Those include Tuolumne, Nevada, Plumas, Calaveras, Sierra, Amador, and El Dorado counties. If you add in Butte, Placer, and Yuba counties to the list, the number of non-renewals increases to nearly 37,000. Meanwhile, the California FAIR Plan, a bare bones insurance policy meant to be a last resort, is seeing a huge boost from people in those fire-prone counties. A 177% increase from 2015 to 2018. Compare that to just a 4% increase in the state's lowest fire risk counties. Now, all of this means people can't find or afford homeowners insurance, and they're left in desperate situations. We spoke last week with an El Dorado County couple who got dropped this year by their home insurance company that they had had for more than 2 decades.
Some people are paying more for their homeowners insurance than they are for their mortgages. I'm now paying 4 times what I was paying before. It's gone from less than $1,000 a year to almost $4,000 a year. And we're on a fixed income. He's retired, I'm retiring, and it wasn't something we expected.
So what is the state doing about all of this?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, for now, they are listening. There's a town hall with Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara that's coming up on Thursday in Grass Valley, and there's one next week in Auburn. We will be following those.
Yeah, absolutely. A story that impacts thousands of people in our state.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, Becca, thank you so much.
Well, it is an issue impacting more and more people in Northern California. They are struggling to get home insurance, or they are being dropped because of fire danger. And so let's talk more about it. ABC 10's Becca Habegger is live in Grass Valley at a town hall on this topic right now. Becca, bring us up to speed.
Yeah, Chris, I'm at the Foothills Event Center here in Grass Valley, where it's overflow parking, overflow in the actual room itself. They have to have a separate room to broadcast. This meeting with the Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara, there are hundreds of people here who are struggling to pay for their homeowner's insurance. We're going to step over here. I'm actually here with a homeowner, Elizabeth Brizard. There's an announcement being made right now, so bear with me. But Elizabeth, you and your husband, right, are here. And you are experiencing a real sharp increase in your home insurance. Tell me, what increase did you see?
Oh golly, wasn't it about 50% when we were figuring it out over there? Yeah, it was a real shock. Like I said, Becca, that we moved in on February 28th, and on March 5th we got a notice of cancellation from the Hartford, and we'd shopped around for insurance. And they knew that it was a high fire danger, but the underwriter signed it, and so we were just in shock. That was in March 5th, and then we had to do a lot of research and find another insurance, and the only thing that we could find was what's called CalFair, the insurance of last resort. So I think, as you said, you were looking at it, and it went from about $2,500 a year to about $4,888 a year.
Oh my goodness! So their insurance doubled. Elizabeth, you and your husband just retired. You're on a fixed income, and thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Yeah,
You're welcome.
Their story is not unique in that there are so many people here whose insurance has either gone through the roof, or now the FAIR Plan, which is considered the plan of last resort for Californians, it's now the plan of only resort for so many Californians. So these folks are eager to hear from Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara, to hear what he has to say and what he might be doing about this crisis here throughout the state of California. So we're going to cover this right now, and we'll have more for you at the late news tonight at 11 o'clock.
Becca, we thank you. We see there's a large crowd gathered there. I know you want to get in the meeting to try and get us some more information about what will be done to help these families dealing with, 50% increases? Wow. Becca, thank you. Well, I want to show you this. We were just at this packed meeting tonight. It was a packed house tonight at the State Insurance Commissioners. They were launching a series of town hall meetings. Many homeowners looking at canceled policies or very high premiums that continue to go up. The first meeting in Grass Valley was standing room only. The state had to open a second viewing area, as a matter of fact. And so I want to bring in our Becca Habegger. You were there at this packed meeting, and you've got some numbers to show what these folks are dealing with,
Yeah,
right?
Chris, take a look at this. I gave people this marker and I said, tell me what you used to pay for homeowners insurance and tell me what you're paying now. The numbers are incredible. Everyone on this list is paying at least double now what they used to. Half of them are paying more than triple their annual premiums.
Wow.
It's incredible. A lot of them are on the California Fair Plan. That's not taxpayer dollars, but that is a state-established fund from decades ago that is meant as an insurance option of last resort for wildfire insurance. And now for many, many people, it's the insurance of their only resort, sadly.
And so then the question is, what is the state doing about this?
That's a great question. Well, the Insurance Commissioner, Ricardo Lara, was speaking at this meeting. It was our first chance to ask him that question. What he wants is state lawmakers to give his department more authority to hold these insurance companies accountable.
So you went from $24.83 a year.
Yeah, to would be $48.85.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Grizzard is on the same page as Colleen Durgan, who used to pay $947 a year for homeowners insurance.
And now what are you looking at?
$2,300 less coverage.
We're located just outside Nevada City, and they dumped us last month.
Keith Markison used to pay $1175 for full coverage through Travelers.
And now we have to pay $3,500 for the California Fair plus $780 for Travelers.
Insurance policies are getting canceled or premiums are skyrocketing. Following back-to-back years of record wildfires, insurance companies are saying no thanks to California. So what is Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara going to do about it?
We want lawmakers to give us the authority to say that you have to, as an insurance company, write in these communities, because people have done what we've asked them to do: harden their homes, get that defensible space. So currently we're in negotiations with the governor and with the legislature, and we feel that we can, come to an agreement where we make sure that we have a strong insurance market, but that we also do something for our consumers. We have to find that appropriate balance. This is why we're saying, if you've done everything to harden your home, as a community you continue to mitigate these wildfires, that you should write. We're not saying that every single household will be forced to, we're forcing the insurance companies to write, but if you've done everything to protect your home, you should be able to write in these communities. We think that's an appropriate balance.
Commissioner Lara says he's hopeful he can make some movement on this by the end of the legislative session next month. Commissioner Lara will be hosting more of these town hall meetings in fire-prone counties in the coming weeks. In fact, just next week, on Wednesday, there will be one in Auburn at the Gold County Fairgrounds. Then on Thursday in Sonora at Opera Hall. Both of those meetings begin at 6 and, of course, are very much open to the public.
And I want to show you this because Becca's actually going to be at those meetings. She wants to know what questions you have for the insurance commissioner. You can text your questions to 916-321-3310, and we'll do our best to get some answers. Well, tonight, the state insurance commissioner is telling us all options are on the table as tens of thousands of homeowners are losing their insurance or being priced out of the market. Our Becca Habegger joins me now, and I know you actually spoke to the commissioner about this ongoing crisis following the wildfires.
Yeah, well, he held a meeting tonight in Placer County. It was his second stop in a town hall tour of fire-prone counties. He was in El Dorado County last week. We were there. We covered that. But tonight's meeting comes on the heels of an open letter from a watchdog group which claims he's not doing all of he can to help homeowners.
Economic effect it's having.
Hundreds of people packed Placer Hall at the Gold Country Fairgrounds in Auburn to hear from Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara. They're people like Craig Casey, whose insurance carrier of more than 20 years dropped him and his wife earlier this year, even after they cleared trees and bushes from around their home to protect it from wildfires. They're now cobbling together insurance from 2 different carriers and paying more than 3 times what they used to.
It's unfortunate. We need insurance, so we have to pay it. Appreciate that insurance companies are in the business to make money, but they are taking full advantage of this fire situation in this state, as far as I'm concerned, and I want to know what he can do about it.
An advocacy group called Consumer Watchdog wants to know too. They say Commissioner Lara should require homeowners insurance companies to provide mitigation discounts to homeowners who make investments in hardening their home, kind of like giving an auto insurance discount to safe drivers. And Lara agrees.
Why can't insurance companies provide these discounts? And it also incentivizes good behavior, which is exactly what we want. But right now, we don't have the authority to force them, and meaning the insurance companies, to write in these communities.
But Consumer Watchdog says Lara does have the authority. As insurance commissioner, you have broad power that you are not using to prevent insurance companies from unfairly penalizing homeowners. You could take the route of emergency regulations if it came to that.
Absolutely. We're open to everything. We're open to emergency regs. We're open to legislative solutions. Everything's on the table, like I said. The need is great.
I really think that until the insurance companies learn how to play fair in this environment, that something needs to be done.
It's interesting how his tone changed once you pointed out you do have some things that you can do.
Yeah, that's true. Obviously, he wants to go through the State House first, but it could be on him if he passes those emergency regulations. And you know, Commissioner Lara does have more of these town halls coming up. Next month, there's one in San Bernardino, Calaveras, and Butte counties. And Chris, take a look. Tomorrow, there will be a town hall in Tuolumne County. It's happening at 6 p.m. in Sonora at Opera Hall.
That is a good point, Becca. We thank you. Keep in mind, we also have this information on our website, abc10.com. Well, happening now, state leaders continue talking about ever-increasing fire insurance rates and people being dropped altogether. Tonight's meeting is in Sonora, and ABC 10's Becca Habegger is there live tonight. You've been following this from the beginning. Becca, bring us up to speed.
Yeah, Chris, this is a crisis facing tens of thousands of Northern California homeowners, and it's a problem that is impacting the economy for all of us. Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara launched a town hall tour of the state's most fire-prone counties last week. We were there for the first one in Grass Valley, which was packed beyond capacity. Lara heard from homeowners who are now paying 2, 3, 4, even 5 times what they used to pay for homeowners insurance. Then we were in Auburn last night, where we asked Commissioner Lara what he can do to help people access and afford insurance. He told us the legislature is considering a number of bills right now that could help move the needle. 2 bills would offer financial assistance to people trying to harden their homes against wildfires by removing trees and other vegetation from around their houses. Lara would like to see insurance companies offer people discounts for doing that kind of work, kind of like how insurance companies offer discounts to safe drivers.
Can insurance companies provide these discounts? And it also incentivizes good behavior, which is exactly what we want. But right now, we don't have the authority to force them, and meaning the insurance companies, to write in these communities.
Opera Hall here in downtown Sonora is literally packed beyond capacity. People are standing outside. It is literally overflow right now as they are here to hear Commissioner Lara speak about this insurance crisis. We're going to try and live stream this on ABC 10's Facebook page. We'll have to see how the service is inside of the Opera Hall here. It's been a little spotty for us, but head on over to ABC 10's Facebook page. Ask me your questions about homeowners insurance. I'll be able to answer them for you, or have one of the California Department of Insurance experts here answer your questions for us. We'll have those answers in the late news tonight at 11 o'clock, hopefully online. Check us out on the Facebook page, but for now, I'll send it back to you.
Becca, we see that big line of folks behind you, this impacting so many of our neighbors across the area. We thank you for that live update. And developing tonight in Sonora, hundreds of people gathered to make their voices heard in a town hall meeting. The topic, home insurance policies. Coverage is either being canceled or it is costing way too much because of wildfires. Take a look. We have now been to meetings with state leaders in Sonora, Auburn, and Grass Valley, and they have all been packed with people. It is a stressful time for so many families, but listen to this. There may be some help on the way. I want to bring in our Becca Habegger because you have been going to these town hall meetings.
Yeah, you know, Chris, state lawmakers are taking up a handful of bills aimed at making homes in these fire-prone areas safer. Other bills could help people to pay to do that, but we should stress the chances of these bills becoming law are getting smaller as the California legislative session is wrapping up. And tonight, homeowners told me they feel trapped.
We're on our 6th insurance policy. No one has come out to our house.
Opera Hall in Sonora was packed to the gills Thursday as hundreds of Tuolumne County homeowners turned out to hear California Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara speak.
We go back and we do the full inventory list, but at least you have some money to figure out what you're going to do.
He talked about the insurance crisis happening in fire-prone counties statewide, where insurance companies are sharply raising premiums and dropping people altogether.
It is a crisis. We've been dealing with difficulties keeping and maintaining insurance in Tuolumne County since 2015, 2016, and it's affected virtually everyone in every part of the county.
Tuolumne County Supervisor Ryan Campbell says much of this area is poor and rural.
I can't tell you how many times I've talked to, widows, retirees who've been paying their premiums on time for 30 years, and they get a letter in the mail saying that they're going to be denied insurance coverage in 2 months.
In his presentation, Lara mentions a number of bills before state lawmakers right now. 2 of them would help homeowners with the cost of hardening their homes, since tree removal and other kinds of fire-safe landscaping can be expensive. Another one creates better guidelines for creating that defensible space around a home and offers grants to local governments to help make that happen. And there's no time to lose.
We've been dealing with this problem for long enough to where people are at risk of losing their homes.
That's the sad part. People
Yeah.
at risk of losing their homes.
Right. It sort of feels like a no-win situation, right? A no-solution situation. But tomorrow there are a number of these bills that are up for a committee hearing, meaning that they'll either go on for a full vote or they won't get passed this year.
And I know the insurance commissioner does have the power to pass some type of emergency regulations if lawmakers don't act?
Yeah, that's right. Commissioner Lara did tell me that yesterday, but he said he'd rather put these things into law. It gives his department a little more authority. That's a little more set in stone, but he can do that. He said all options are on the table. And we should mention the last day to pass bills in our legislative session is in just over 2 weeks, September 13th. So they have to act quickly.
Something we'll be watching. Becca, thank you.
And new tonight, a bill addressing wildfire safety is on its way to the governor's desk. AB 1516 would require a new ember-resistant zone within 5 feet of a structure in a high wildfire risk area.
Do you have a woodpile right up against the wall? Do you have a vine growing on the side of a house? Do you have a tree where the trunk is right up against your house? Having areas around a property that are not well maintained not only puts your own property and life at risk, but it puts entire neighborhoods at risk. And we want to give more guidance as to what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing.
The governor has a month to sign this and another bill on his desk into law.
After back-to-back years of record-setting wildfires, tons of California homeowners are getting the letter. Notice that their insurance company is not renewing their homeowners policy. People with mortgages are required to have homeowners insurance, and people who own their homes still want protection, especially as we enter the height of wildfire season. Enter the California Fair Access to Insurance Requirements, or FAIR plan. But what is it exactly? Created more than 50 years ago in response to brush fires and riots in the 60s, the FAIR plan is an insurance pool established to assure the availability of basic property insurance to Californians. There's no taxpayer money involved. It's just required by the state to provide fire coverage to people who can't get insurance from other sources. It's called a plan of last resort, but for many people, it's the only resort right now. And it's more expensive, and it only covers fire. So if you used to get all of your homeowner's insurance through Company X, and then Company X decides to not renew your policy, now you may have to buy expensive fire insurance through the FAIR plan and all your other insurance coverage through a secondary source. All that adds up. So what is the state doing about this outdated and expensive FAIR plan? California Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara has asked that the FAIR plan coverage limit be increased from $1.5 million to $3 million, which the FAIR plan has agreed to do, and that could happen by spring of next year. Lara also requested the FAIR plan offer homeowners more comprehensive coverage. No word on when and whether that will happen.
Non-renewal is generally expected to get worse in 2019 and beyond. A few insurers already have informed the department that they plan to non-renew thousands of homeowners policies across the state in geographical areas, both rural and urban, due to wildfire risk. So there are more non-renewals ahead. It creates both personal and regional crises, making their insurance unaffordable, their home unaffordable, their home unsellable.
Text insurance to 916-321-3310 for more information on the FAIR plan and other sources of homeowners insurance.